In my last two videos, Conspiracy Theorists according to SMYLZ Parts 1 and 2, I explained exactly who conspiracy theorists are and how I personally assess their credibility. In doing so, I reveal that I myself am a conspiracy theorist. I just don't consider myself to be a part of the conspiracy theorist community because I'm not that passionate or obsessed or care that much about conspiracy theories as they do. But there are some conspiracy theories that I do believe in. Conspiracy theories that I believe that I can't prove to be true, or conspiracies that I don't really know to be true, but it wouldn't surprise me if they are. In this video, I'm going to share with you the conspiracy theories that I personally believe in and the conspiracy theories that I don't buy into. Hi guys, I, of course, am the legendary SMYLZ, and this is Conspiracy Theorists according to SMYLZ, Part 3. In my previous videos, I explained that in order for something to be a conspiracy, all you need to have is more than one person that make an agreement in secret to plan to do something harmful to another person or a group of people. Conspiracies don't have to be complex, complicated, or intricate. They can be very simple. Conspirators don't have to be people of power or wealth. They can be average people. So, in order for you to be a conspiracy theorist, all you have to do is believe that there's more than one person that made a plan in secret to do something harmful to another person or a group of people, but you can't readily prove it. With that being said, here are some conspiracy theories that I believe in and I can't readily prove. Some of them are conspiracy theories like I really do believe in and I can't prove. Others are ones that I think are possible, but I'm on the fence. It could go either way. And some I don't think are true, but it wouldn't surprise me if they were true. Let's start with some recent current events and we'll just work our way backwards throughout history. And just for context, this video is being recorded in April of 2024. I do believe that the Department of Justice and the U.S. justice system is being weaponized to prevent Donald Trump from winning another presidential term. And while we're on Donald Trump, I don't believe he has as much money as he says he has. I do believe Donald Trump took classified documents from the White House knowingly. I don't believe Donald Trump is responsible for the insurrection of January 6th. I do believe Washington, D.C. did everything in their power, aside from assassination, to try to remove Donald Trump from office during his first term. I do believe that Donald Trump violated the terms of his non-disclosure agreement before Stormy Daniels did. I do believe that the Obama administration spied on Donald Trump's campaign when he was running against Hillary. I don't believe Donald Trump is racist. I don't believe that Donald Trump is as unhinged as left-wing media makes him out to be, but I do believe that Trump's personality and his braggadocious ego makes him an easy target for things he's saying to be taken out of context. I do believe right-wing media puts Donald Trump on a pedestal and he's not as capable as they make him out to be. I believe that most Trump supporters only want to see Donald Trump win as a form of vengeance to stick it to their political opponents and not necessarily because it's what's good for the American people. I do believe that politics are dumb. Moving on to Joe Biden, I do believe that Joe Biden is the big guy that's being referred to in Hunter Biden's emails. I do believe Joe Biden profited off of whatever Hunter Biden was doing dealing with those foreign entities. I don't believe Joe Biden is all the way there mentally, and I do believe that we're watching his brain deteriorate right before our eyes. I do believe that Hunter Biden is the father of a child conceived with a paid sex escort. I do believe that Donald Trump and Joe Biden are too f***ing old to be president of the United States. And that's not a conspiracy theory, I just think it needs to be said. I don't believe that Jeffrey Epstein killed himself. And I also don't believe that Jeffrey Epstein is still alive. I don't believe that we're ever going to see legitimate documentation of the Epstein Island client list. I do believe that most of the people that visited Epstein's Island were not aware or knowledgeable about the sex trafficking and criminal activity that was going on that island. I do believe that if a flight list were to be released, most of the names that would appear on that Epstein Island flight list may be innocent. They weren't involved in an extracurricular activity. They probably just thought that Epstein Island was a cool vacation spot. I do believe that the FBI may have destroyed evidence that would expose powerful people that visited Epstein Island. I believe that Diddy was tipped off by the FBI before his homes were raided. I believe that the FBI raided Diddy's homes to find, collect, and destroy evidence that would expose powerful people that attended Diddy's parties. I do believe that the coronavirus that led to the pandemic originated in a lab in Wuhan, China. I don't believe that the coronavirus was released intentionally. I do believe it was an accident, but it wouldn't surprise me if we learned that China did release the coronavirus intentionally. Even though I believe that the coronavirus was released accidentally, I do believe that the Chinese government wasn't forthcoming about all the details surrounding the release of the coronavirus. I do believe that the U.S. government was well aware that the coronavirus was not as deadly as the media was making it out to be, but I do believe they went with the fear-mongering as an overabundance of caution. Not caution for the safety and lives of the people, but caution for the security of their political jobs. I do believe that the pandemic-era COVID lockdowns were an experiment for the U.S. government to see how much they can get away with in a time of crisis. I believe they were testing their limits to see how much power and control they can have over the general population. I do believe that the COVID vaccines were heavily pushed by the government as a test to see if they can actually get people to take the vaccine. Once again, they want to experiment to see if they were powerful enough to get people to take this vaccine. I don't believe that the COVID vaccines were harmful to the vast majority of the population, but I do believe that the COVID vaccines were harmful and fatal to a small segment of the population. And I think the evidence that shows that the COVID vaccines was harmful or fatal to certain segments of the population are being covered up. I have some friends that now have lingering health issues post-pandemic, and I do believe that those health issues are a side effect of the COVID vaccine. Their doctors aren't going to tell them that the COVID vaccine is the cause of their lingering health issues that they have. But when I think of these friends, that's the only common denominator. They all got the vaccine around the same time, and now they have lingering health issues around that same time. That's the only thing that they have in common. Now, I have friends that have taken the vaccine and they're completely fine, but when it comes to those particular friends, that's it. I have this nagging suspicion that their health issues that they have today was because they took the vaccine. They were the unfortunate ones to happen to have a negative side effect from the COVID vaccine. I do believe that right-wing conservatives try to use the power of government to force people to abide by their religious beliefs. I think if they can get away with it, they will pass laws that force people to live by their religious tenets. I do believe that Democrats need a permanent underclass to stay in power, so they make legislation to make it harder for the lower class citizens to advance financially. I do believe in climate change, but I don't think humans are responsible for it. I don't believe in the man-made climate change agenda. However, I do believe that politicians are using fear-mongering tactics surrounding climate change to gain more power and control over private businesses and private citizens. I do not believe that the attacks on 9/11 were an inside job by the U.S. government, but it wouldn't surprise me if they were. I do believe that the attacks of 9/11 were orchestrated by radical Islamic extremists, terrorists. I also believe that the U.S. government uses crises and the aftermath of crises and the fear-mongering around it to gain more power and control over the general population. I'm not sure what the next major crisis in the U.S. is going to be, but I do believe that the U.S. government is going to take advantage of that crisis to try to gain more power, gain more control, and try to pass legislation that gives them more control under the guise of protection to prevent a crisis of that nature in the future. Now, I wasn't alive for the rest of the popular conspiracy theories, so I don't know if the CIA has something to do with the assassinations of John F. Kennedy or Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. or John Lennon. I wasn't around. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me either way. So why is it that I believe in the conspiracy theories that I just shared with you? Well, it's because I know that those conspiracy theories are humanly possible. I usually consider three factors. The first factor is it doesn't take a whole lot of intelligence to pull off those conspiracy theories. It just takes a willingness to be manipulative, deceitful, have a lack of empathy for your fellow man, no regard for human life, and you have to have a willingness to steal, murder, and in some cases commit suicide. And throughout human history, humans have shown the ability to do all that. Bank robberies, identity theft, insurance fraud, credit card scams, corporate sabotage, plagiarism, racketeering. Humans have shown that they can be deceitful and manipulative. Then there's murder, mass murder, school shootings, slavery, sex trafficking. Humans have shown that they have the ability to show no regard for human life. And they've shown that they have the ability to take human life. Then there's suicide bombings. Whatever happened to the Jim Jones Code or whatever happened to the Branch Davidians, humans have shown that they have a willingness to take their own lives. The second factor I consider of the conspiracy theories I believe in is if the technology and the resources to pull them off exist. So let's take the attacks on September 11th, for example. Now, personally, I don't believe that it was an inside job by the U.S. government, but if it were an inside job by the U.S. government, I can believe it because the U.S. government has the technology and the resources to pull it off. Like, what would you need to pull off a 9/11? You would need airplanes. Well, airplanes exist. You would need fake IDs. Yeah, fake IDs exist. You would need walkie-talkies to communicate. Well, walkie-talkies exist. You would need watches and clocks to synchronize times. Well, watches and clocks exist. You would need explosives. Well, explosives exist. And you would need people that's willing to commit suicide for whatever reason, whether it's for their religious beliefs or for the promise that their family will be better off if they do the job. Well, people have committed suicide for those reasons, and they have a willingness to take their lives. So those resources exist. So for 9/11 to be an inside job, everything they need is something that actually exists. Therefore, it makes it believable. And that goes for all the conspiracy theories I believe in. All the conspiracy theories I believe in, I know that the resources and technology to pull it off actually exist. The third factor I consider in the conspiracy theories I believe in is that I know that there's a human desire, an incentive. There's something to gain from those if they pull off the conspiracy. Like there's a motivation. What do humans want? Humans want power, control, glory, fame, riches, sex, 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 etc. In all of those conspiracy theories I believe in, the conspirators would have one of those things to gain if they successfully pull off the conspiracy. So it makes it easier for me to believe. So to recap, if the conspiracy theory is humanly possible and the resources and technology to pull it off exists, and the conspirators have something logical to gain by pulling off the conspiracy, I can believe the conspiracy theory. Now let's move on to conspiracy theories I don't believe in. I don't believe Earth is being visited by extraterrestrials from another planet. I don't think Earth is being monitored by extraterrestrials from another planet. I don't believe any government is being controlled by extraterrestrials from another planet. I don't believe any government has made contact with extraterrestrials from another planet. I don't believe any government is hiding extraterrestrial bodies or technology in a secret facility. I don't believe Area 51 is harboring extraterrestrial beings, bodies, or technology. I don't believe any human has had a close encounter of the third kind with any extraterrestrial from another planet. I don't believe any human has been abducted by extraterrestrials from another planet. I don't believe extraterrestrials from another planet are responsible for crop circles or cattle mutilations. I don't believe anyone is experimenting with extraterrestrial DNA or performing alien autopsies or trying to create alien-human hybrids. I do believe that there are people who genuinely believe that they've had encounters with extraterrestrials. I just don't believe that they really had. And I also admit that I probably can't explain their experience. I do believe that there may be life on other planets because the universe is so vast. I just don't believe we've made contact with that life, or we will in our lifetime. I do believe that if we do discover life on other planets, it's most likely going to be single-celled or simple organisms. Nothing too complicated, not like an advanced technological society. I do believe in UFOs, but by the true definition. I think people have encountered objects that appear to be flying and they can't identify them. But I also believe that these unidentified flying objects are not extraterrestrial in origin. I do believe if extraterrestrials from another planet were real and they did have the technology to visit Earth, and if they did visit Earth and they were hostile in nature, I'd whip an extraterrestrial ass. It don't matter what planet they come from. I don't believe in the supernatural. I don't believe in ghosts, spirits, souls, angels, demons, poltergeists, or anything of that nature, or supernature. I don't believe that there's a supreme deity or an afterlife. I do believe that some people genuinely believe that they may have had a supernatural experience. I just don't believe that they really had a supernatural experience. And I would be the first to admit that I probably couldn't explain their experience. But maybe it was something psychological or psychedelic, or something that can be scientifically explained if all the facts of the experience were present. I do believe that if supernatural beings like ghosts, angels, demons, or poltergeists did exist, and these supernatural beings were hostile in nature, I'd whip a ghost, angel, demon, or poltergeist ass. I don't believe in the paranormal. I don't believe that people can tell legit fortunes, or speak to the dead, or cast spells, or be possessed by spirits, or have legit out-of-body experiences. I do believe that there are people who genuinely believe that they've had a paranormal experience or may even have paranormal powers. I just don't believe that they actually do. And I'll admit that I probably couldn't explain their experience. I do believe that if a person really did have telepathic, telekinetic, or clairvoyant powers, and that person was hostile in nature, I'd whip their telepathic, telekinetic, clairvoyant ass. I don't believe in the existence of Bigfoot, Sasquatch, Yeti, or the abominable snowman. But I do know that if they did exist, I'd whip Bigfoot, Sasquatch, Yeti, and the abominable snowman's ass, even if they jumped me 4-on-1. I don't believe that the Loch Ness Monster actually existed, but based on the lore and the legend of the Loch Ness Monster, if the Loch Ness Monster did exist, I would the Loch Ness Monster's ass. The same goes for vampires, werewolves, chupacabra, baba yaga, gnomes, trolls, fairies, pixies, sirens, mermaids, etc. I don't believe any of them exist, but I do believe if they did exist, I'd whip their ass. I don't believe in Bloody Mary, Bloody Mary, Bloody Mary. But when it comes to Bloody Mary, if you know, you know. Oh, by the way, I'd whip Bloody Mary's ass. Speaking of Marys, I don't believe that the Virgin Mary posts images of herself on random inanimate objects. Not a piece of toast or whatever. I don't believe in astrology and all that zodiac stuff. I don't believe that the position of distant celestial bodies can affect human behavior or dictate the outcome of someone's life. With the exception of the sun and the moon. Like they're right there. Obviously the sun and the moon does affect our lifestyle. I don't believe in that whole numerology thing. Like I know people, they see a sequence of numbers, whether it's a clock or whether it's the back of somebody's license plate, whether it's the price of gas or something on a billboard. Like they would see a sequence of numbers and they would think that that sequence of numbers is something meaningful or symbolic or a message specifically for them. I do believe in the existence of secret societies, but I don't believe they're as powerful as people perceive them to be. I don't believe secret societies have the ability to orchestrate every single significant event in human history. I do believe that some world governments have the power to kind of steer the course of human history, you know, with like setting up dictatorships, staging coups, influencing uprisings and revolutions, things of that nature. You know, things that's within human possibility. I don't believe secret societies can control the weather, especially the major weather events. Like I don't believe they can cause earthquakes and tidal waves and tsunamis. I do believe we have the power to control the weather slightly, for example, like cloud seeding for agricultural purposes, but that's the extent of it. We can't cause major disasters. We can't just make a volcano erupt with the push of a button. I don't believe that secret societies are trying to depopulate the planet. I don't believe that they're trying to poison our food or drinks or toothpaste or whatever. I don't believe that they're trying to poison the air or sending pilots up to do chemtrails. I don't believe that. Even if the secret societies were trying to depopulate the planet, they suck at it because our numbers are increasing. We're at like 8 billion people on planet Earth now, and the average human lifespan is extending. So we're living longer and there's more of us. So if they are trying to depopulate the planet, they're not doing a very good job. I do believe that most secret societies are really just pleasure clubs. You know, a place where rich and powerful people can go to engage in debauchery and all kind of sexual perversions and all kind of weird stuff without being judged by the general public. I do believe that there are secret organizations that engage in occultic rituals, and I do believe that the members of these organizations really believe that these occultic rituals are doing something supernatural or is having some sort of supernatural effect on whatever it is that they're doing, but I just believe that they're mistaken. I think in their imaginations, they believe that these rituals are causing something supernatural to happen, but it's all in their minds. I don't believe that celebrities actually sell their soul for fortune and fame. Well, not in the literal sense. I do believe that celebrities sell their soul in a figurative sense, meaning that they may do something that goes against their personal morals, or they may do something that goes against their integrity, or they may do something that goes against their own personal code, with the hope that they get fortune and fame on the back end. I do believe that people in power make wannabe celebrities go through dehumanizing or demoralizing initiations with the promise of fortune and fame in return. All right, let's do the lightning round. I don't believe that the earth is flat. I don't believe that the moon is hollow. I don't believe that the moon landing was fake. I don't believe that there's an interdimensional portal in the Bermuda Triangle. I don't believe that extraterrestrials from another planet built the pyramids or any other ancient construction. I don't believe that the bullet that struck JFK was magical. I don't believe that Elvis Presley, Jeffrey Epstein, or Tupac Shakur is still alive. I don't believe that any politician, leader, or authority figure is really a clone, or a robot, or a shape-shifting reptilian. I don't think Michelle Obama is a man, and I wouldn't care whether she was or wasn't. Speaking of which, I don't really care who's secretly gay, or who's really a man, who's really a woman, or who's really a trans. Like, I really do not care what people do in their personal lives or what they do in their bedroom, as long as it all involves consenting adults. Sometimes I think we get too hung up on that stupidness. Anyway, I don't think Michael Jackson had any biological kids, but I wouldn't care either way. I'm trying to see if I'm forgetting anything. No, I think that about covers it. If there's any conspiracy theory that I'm forgetting, tough titty. I probably won't be revisiting this. This is usually the part where the average YouTuber would say something like, if there's any conspiracy theories you believe in, leave them down in the comments. You know what? That's not a bad idea, actually. Yeah, go ahead on and do that. If there's some conspiracy theories I missed or something you believe in and you want to know what I think, just drop it down in the comment. I might read it and reply. Screw it. See what you got. And I'm not going to do all that like and subscribe and hit the notification bell. You know how this works. You know. I guess it would be cool if you did subscribe, but I'm not going to beg you. Anyway, I, of course, am the legendary SMYLZ, and this has been Conspiracy Theorists, according to SMYLZ.